I've entitled this sermon today, God Gives. And it really struck home to me recently because I had to have some dental work done. And so when I went to the dentist to get an estimate, not the ultimate, but an estimate, he told me it would be somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 to fix a few teeth. And so as I was praying to God on my prayer walk, I thought, wait a minute, God gave me those teeth and didn't charge me a single buck for that. In fact, He gave me 2 sets of teeth. He took one away to give me a better set, a more permanent set. And I couldn't help but begin to think, all the things that God has given to me and to each one of us and hasn't charged us a nickel for it. We were recently at an art auction just because we happened to be with some friends and they asked us to go to an art auction, and they had some pencil etchings by Picasso. They were selling, one of them was selling for $57,000. Now, I know Picasso is considered a great artist, but I just had trouble seeing what they saw in that. I can see a whole lot more in $57,000 in my bank account than I could on that picture. And that was just the start of it. And they were talking about, well, if you don't have this, then you're just really not much of an art collector. And I'm thinking, well, I haven't really got much beyond Crayola and saving the grandparents or grandkids' pictures and the like, and I haven't saved all of those. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not valuable. They are valuable in man's sight. But that evening, I saw this awesome sunset. And I said, that's free. Not only I get one of those tomorrow. In fact, I could get up early enough and I might get a sunrise, and every one will be different. It'll be painted by the real master. And I thought about that, and I was thinking about the things that God gives us free. Then you have to consider that God has given us the entire universe. He gave us all this land, what we call the earth. And He created it, and what we find in the book of Genesis is that everything that He made was very good. And He gave Adam his helpmeet, his wife. Some may not agree with this, but I would say his equal. His equal, because the problem began after sin. I mean, she wasn't to be treated as anything less. She was God's creation, a wonderful creation, a masterpiece. But we just have problems with understanding that, and we have problems living according to the way that God intended things to be. But He's given us this whole universe, God has. And you have to realize that God is a giver. From the beginning, God has always been a giver and always is a giver. But He's not just a giver. Because there are givers and takers and all of those things. But let us read from James chapter 1 the kind of giver that God is. This is how James sees God as a giver. In James chapter 1 verse 17, and this is going to be our focus for today. He says, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. So James is saying to us that every good and perfect gift is from above, and that it comes from the Father, and it comes from the Father of lights. It's illuminating. It is not darkness, but rather light that we find. So the question for each of us today that I want to start with, can you or I name a perfect gift of God that we have received? Have any of us received a perfect gift from God? If so, what is the perfect gift that we might have received from God? Jeanette, I can say. Oh, the ability to love.
He's not perfect, but the love is totally complete.
He's not perfect. I love that. And He can accept that. a wonderful gift. He gave you a gift of a partner, of a husband and wife relationship, partnering, learning. It's the perfect gift because it's the gift that God gave Adam and Eve in the beginning, two people to work together, because neither one of us, or man or woman, is complete of themselves. And we certainly are not complete without God. You know, and that's what we talked about last week at our home there with dinner, was this. That it is God's Spirit that unites with our spirit that tells us that we are His children in Romans chapter 8. It reminds us that we are His children. So the question I ask, if we think about, has God given us a perfect gift? And I ask this question, well, how about Jesus? I would suggest to us that the most perfect gift that God has given to us is Jesus. And Jesus in all of His manifestations. Jesus as the Messiah. Jesus as the child born of Joseph and Mary. An incredible gift. And an incredible way in which He has given the gift. Because we all have received gifts from time to time and wonder, well, what is this? And we don't see any value in it. If somebody would have handed me the Picasso, the etching and all that, I'm sorry, I'm not that literate in that field to recognize it. If they would have handed Jesus to Herod as a baby, what value would he have seen in him? And the question always to us is, what value do we see in him? You say, well, what kind of gift is this? Even our trials, sometimes God kind of gifts us with a few difficulties in life that come our way, and when it's all said and done, we say, wow, what a lesson. And I know that we've all made this, we're old enough to make this dumb statement and feel good about it. That is, man, I had a tough life, but it sure did help me a whole lot, because if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't be who I am. Now, those that are going through it right now would say, you're crazy as a bed bug. I don't want a tough life. I want a good life. I want to have everything I want and when I want it. Think about if, as God, the great good gift giver, if He gave us everything that we wanted right now. I mean, I'll just give you everything. There's nothing, anything more. I'm just going to pile everything you're ever going to have right now. God, one of the great things about gifts is surprises, things that you don't know that are coming around the corner. As I say, my wife was talking to our daughter yesterday, and she was talking about her job, and there was something that my daughter hadn't expected in her job, and how much she loves her job. My daughter is talking about how much she loves her job. Now, that's a great gift to her. But what a gift it was to my wife. It's like, whoa, good. She finally has got a job she likes. And what gift did she give my wife? She gave her a gift of joy. She gave her a gift of peace. She gave her happiness. She gave her rest. That's an incredible gift. Now, when we think about Jesus, Jesus gives us that same thing. He gives us a peace and He gives us a rest. We don't always recognize it, nor do we always accept it for what it really is. So we have this incredible gift. And what does God say in this regard? In John 3, verse 17, God says, through the Apostle John, God so loved the world that He what? He gave. Gave what? His only begotten Son. The Picasso I was talking about was a signed copy by Picasso. It wasn't the original, it was a signed copy by Picasso. He put his name on it. Jesus is the one and the only masterpiece. The ultimate masterpiece.
Feeling the blues today or tired of life already? Do you have questions about life or need spiritual advice? We can help. Log on to worldwidechurchofgod.com or wcgfairfield.blogspot.com and stay connected to reality. The Worldwide Church of God in Fairfield, Santa Rosa, and Modesto are located in the San Francisco Bay Area, regarded as the most prosperous region in the United States. We believe Jesus Christ when he proclaimed in Matthew 6:24 that serving God is more important than serving mammon. We welcome everyone to come and worship and fellowship every Saturday at the times listed on your screen and on our website, worldwidechurchofgod.com.